Pasha Wants To Fly. The grass all along the forest floor glimmered green and wet from last night's rain, and all the jungle paths were slippery and slick with slush. This was a delight for the baby baboons who liked to somersault and dive splashing down into the mud, or for the naughty flying squirrels who swooped over dropping acorns about, spurting huge blobs of sticky dirt onto any animal that had the bad luck to be passing by. But Pasha the snake was not in the same high spirits as the baby baboons or the flying squirrels.
I've had it,
Exclaimed Pasha as he tried to flick away the brown grit that covered his tail.
I've had it with all this mud and dirt and grit and grime. And most of all, I have had enough of having to slither through it.
With a forceful swish, he writhed his body, trying to fling the dirt. But Pasha burst out in irritation, startling Minku Monkey, who happened to be swinging by.
Oi, Pasha, what's the matter? Are you practicing to sing?
Joked Minku, chomping a banana.
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to keep clean. That's easy. Just stop crawling and slithering about.
Pasha rolled his eyes and muttered,
If I don't slither, then I cannot get to any place. Which place do you want to get to, Pasha?
asked Oslo the tortoise.
Oh, everywhere, Oslo. But I am just tired of getting dirty all over each time, especially after it has rained. Well, just take a nice long bath in the jungle stream,
Offered Minky Mouse, poking her head out one of the bushes.
Yuck!
Said Minku Monkey even before Pasha could answer.
I don't like baths at all.
Minky pulled a face at Minku as Pasha said,
Well, then I'll have to stay in the stream all day. You could swing from tree to tree. Or hop about, like Harry the Hare.
suggested Minky.
Or fly like Igor the Eagle, if you had wings.
Said Oslo almost apologetically. Pasha nodded sadly.
Yes, I could do all these if I had 4 legs or a strong tail or wings. But I don't. Anyways, thanks, friends. I should be going now.
And with that, Pasha sadly turned away, ducking into the grass as Minky, Minku and Oslo waved and went their ways. It was the same afternoon that Pasha headed towards a fruit orchard near the jungle stream. He was quite hungry, and he loved lunching on the sweet, overripe berries that lay strewn all about the banks of the stream during the season. Soon, after a belly-filling berry feast, Pasha lay contented, basking, gazing at the vast blue sky above. Of all the things his friends had suggested, who were forced to stay on the ground, there would be no more need to crawl or slither. He would simply glide on his wings, happily free of all worries.
Well, I have never seen a snake smiling quite so wide like that for a while,
said a voice, cutting into Pasha's happy musings. Pasha stirred to see 2 tall, handsome storks with lanky legs and stretchy beaks.
I was just thinking about flying.
And flying is all we do. Hi, I'm Sam and this is my brother Saru,
said one of the storks with a friendly salute.
I am Pasha, and I wish I could fly.
Saru smiled.
Well, flying sure is awesome. There's nothing like the view from up there. The beautiful forest like
Great patches of moss, the mountains like giant brown toadstools.
Oh, true of course. My favorite sight is the rainbow,
said Sam. Pasha felt wistful.
It must be beautiful. I wish I could get up there somehow.
Sam felt sorry for the sad snake. But there seemed little he or his brother could do about it.
Oh, well, it was nice meeting you, Pasha. Saru and I have to be taking some jackfruit to our cousins, so we will be off.
Jackfruit? How would you carry your heavy jackfruit?
Oh, that's easy. We share the load. Yeah, we tie to a stick and then lift the stick together and fly.
He had just got a great idea.
Then you two can take me up as well. I am lighter than a jackfruit and I can coil around the stick. You won't even have to tie me.
Sam and Saru were a bit taken aback at Pasha's proposal, but couldn't ignore his enthusiasm. Though a bit doubtful, they agreed, and soon the three were ready for Pasha's first flight. Pasha sat coiled at the center of a stick.
Okay, now remember, it can get quite windy up there, so you must sit still, else you may fall.
Pasha nodded and tried hard to keep his body from trembling with all the excitement he was feeling. Sam and Saru nodded to each other and, spreading their strong white and grey wings, took off with Pasha. Pasha's eyes went wider and wider and his heart beat faster and faster. With each meter, he rose off the earth and towards the sky.
Oh my!
He thought,
This is much more wonderful than I imagined it would be. The massive elephants are as small as ants, and the mighty trees look like weeds. And best of all, neither am I crawling, nor am I dirty anywhere.
As he thought this, he felt an urge to check his tail and without thinking coiled it off the stick he was supposed to hold on to. With a slick, slimy swish, Pasha slid off the stick.
Ah! Pasha!
Yelled a panicky Sam.
Hey, try to grab the stick with your mouth. Okay, now this time don't let go.
Pasha nodded. A while later, they were passing over the jungle gym where Pasha noticed all his friends exercising. There was Minku Monkey, Minky Mouse, Oslo, and even Big Bro the elephant. Wouldn't they be surprised to find him in the sky instead of the ground for a change?
Hey guys, look at me, I'm flying.
But no sooner Pasha opened his mouth, fell hard, spraining his back on Big Bro's jogging machine.
Ow,
Mumbled Pasha painfully.
I can't move at all.
Poor Pasha, thanks to his foolish wish to fly, he couldn't even crawl now. Shamsher's little chit-chat.
La-da-da-dee-da-da, lather and throw a little shampoo. I'm so handsome, and now my name is too.
Sang Shamsher the lion gustily as he finished shampooing his mane and flicked it back to admire it, even though it looked all flat and wet at the moment.
It's okay, mate. I know that once you're dry, you'll be all bushy, bouncy, and glorious once again,
Said Shamsher, brushing it back lovingly. Just then, Shamsher's toad clock croaked loud.
Oh, is it 2 o'clock in the afternoon already? Then it's lunchtime,
Said Shamsher and headed into his kitchen to fix himself a meal. But all he found when he opened the larder doors were dozing spiders on cobwebs.
I can't believe it. I'm out of food.
Well, you would only have food if you actually went out and got some, you lazy lion.
Said Corky, the naughty cockroach, and chuckled heartily.
Huh? I'll teach you a lesson, you smart-mouthed cockroach.
Snarled an angry Shamsher as he tried to grab the smug cockroach. But Corky dashed out of his reach swiftly and called out,
Ha! I'm too quick for you, Shamsher. And you're so out of practice sitting all day at home and brushing your mane that I bet you can't even catch yourself a snail. Ha ha! Some lion who can't even hunt.
Shamsher roared so loud and angrily at Corky that the walls of his house trembled and the glass on his windows jittered. Cocky gulped, cowering and deciding he had said enough, dashed off into the hole.
I can hunt, and I will prove it right now,
Snapped Shamsher and stormed out of his house, banging the door shut. It was all very well for Shamsher to rave and rant at being poked fun at, but the truth was that it had been quite a while since he had hunted. Thanks to his thoughts being always and only about winning the best groom lion contest every season, he had spent more hours shining his coat rather than chasing prey. His legs ached and his lungs wheezed as he breathed, and all this when he had just walked. Imagine what would happen if he tried to chase an animal.
Well, no harm in trying,
Mumbled Shamsher, refusing to give up. So he lay in wait behind some tall grass until Django the deer cantered in with a carefree smile.
Been quite a while since I had a nice big deer sandwich,
Muttered Shamsher, crouching as he got ready to pounce. But barely had the grass rustled beneath Shamsher's flexing paws that the fit and lithe Django's ears perked. Django turned and, spotting Shamsher in the bushes, darted off at top speed, nimbly leaping to a safe distance. Shamsher, who had run only a couple of steps, was already panting hard, clutching his tummy.
Hey, Shamsher!
Called out Django.
I think you should bring some skates next time you hunt. Maybe then you will move faster.
I will teach you to mock me, you insolent deer!
Roared Shamsher, furious. But there was nothing much more he could do, as Django trotted away smartly with a pitying smile. Sighing aloud and full of sympathy for himself, Shamsher got to his feet tiredly and wondered as to what next to do.
My feet seem swollen and my whole body aches. If I don't rest a while, then forget getting a meal. I won't be able to get home.
With these thoughts, Shamsher limped along looking for a resting place and soon came upon a small cave.
This cave seems quite cozy, but it also looks as if some animal has made it its home.
Shamsher peered closely and found paw prints of a smaller animal near the cave's entrance. He had a sudden brainwave.
Hey, what if I hide in the cave and wait for the animal who lives here to return? I won't even have to chase it, for I will simply block it from escaping and trap it within its own home. Ha ha!
Shamsher limped into the cave and slyly hid in the darkness within. Soon it was evening, and Felix the fox, who lived in that cave, returned, weary and tired, ready to retire for the day. Shamsher, who heard the approaching footsteps of the fox, tensed, ready to pounce. He was by now very hungry and couldn't wait to nab his prey. Felix smiled, relieved to reach his home, and was about to saunter in when his eyes fell on something strange, and he froze in his tracks. There were the prints of a much bigger animal, like that of a lion or tiger, going into his cave, but none coming out. Felix gulped, all his fatigue now replaced by fear. Was there a dangerous predator inside his home? Would he be in danger if he went inside, or was he just being silly, worrying for no reason? Felix was confused for a while. Meanwhile, Shamsher waited anxiously. He even managed a quick peek out and saw the fox staring at the cave.
Why isn't the fox coming in?
Thought Shamsher, desperate to grab Felix. But Felix was a true fox, cunning, smart, and not one to take foolish chances. He decided that there was only one way to find out the truth, and so, clearing his throat, he called out in a cheerful voice.
Yoo-hoo, cave! Hello! How are you?
The cave, of course, was silent. Shamsher, surprised, looked at the cave, wondering.
The cave speaks?
Felix pouted and said,
Are you angry with me? Why don't you reply? You greet me every day so sweetly, and that's why I love staying in you.
The cave still made not a sound.
Come on, cave, say something.
But the cave stayed quiet.
Fine, you rude cave. I don't like you anymore. I'm going away now, never to return again.
Shamsher panicked. He had to do something. So clearing his throat, Shamsher said in his best cavey voice,
Hello, dear fox. I'm so sorry to upset you. Don't go away. I was asleep and so didn't hear you return. Come inside. I'm all ready for you.
Felix laughed loud as he recognized Shamsher's rough voice.
Haha, of course you're Shamsher. But sorry, I have no wish to be such a foolish lion's dinner. Only a lazy, foolish lion like you would believe that caves can talk. Ta-ta! You may stay in my cave and chat with it as long as you wish, for I will never come back again.
And with a quick wave, Felix the fox disappeared swiftly into the forest. Hungry and tired, Shamsher returned home, learning one valuable lesson. Caves don't chit-chat. Big Bro has a problem. It was springtime, and the sweet fragrance of wild roses and white lilies was everywhere. It was a season of plenty, and animals throughout the forest of Toonban scurried, collecting the choicest of fruits, berries, and delicious roots, stocking up their larders for the rest of the year. There was so much food that the animals decided to have a great big fruit festival. Auntie Pig offered to bake banana bread. Husna Hippo and Big Bro arranged for a grape-crushing game room at the jungle play yard. Big Bro was also very excited because he was expecting the arrival of his distant cousin, Bhompu.
I will be seeing Bhompu after so many years.
Were you two very good friends?
Not quite, but that was when we were just calves. Now that we are all grown up, I bet things will be very different.
Husna smiled, hoping the same, and she always wished good for him. By afternoon, all was done, and the animals decided to take a quick lunch break. Big Bro headed to the banana grove near his home, but just as he was nearing it, he heard loud chomp chomp sounds. Big Bro, thinking that a thief was looting his precious bananas, tiptoed carefully, ready to give the thief a stinging surprise. Said Big Bro, but stopped short as he saw a big burly elephant, bit shocked.
Cousin Bhompu?
Big Bro dropped the stick, a bit embarrassed.
Yes, Big Bro. Though I must say, you are not quite as big as I am. Ha ha ha.
Guffawed Bhompu as he thrust his chest out importantly. Big Bro sighed. Bhompu had always bullied him when they were young, but Big Bro had hoped he would stop now. Obviously not.
Oh, cousin, a fruit festival has been organized at the jungle gym today. I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
Sounds pretty boring. But I guess there's nothing else to do in this forest of yours anyway.
Big Bro slumped, wondering why his cousin Bhompu was so difficult to please. Soon, Bhompu and Big Bro arrived at the fruit festival, which was now under full swing. Animals big and small, furry and slimy, had hopped, slithered, trotted, or flown down to taste the delicious fruits and play the many games set out. Big Bro tried to introduce his friends to Bhompu, but Bhompu rudely brushed them off.
You have such puny friends, Big Bro. Maybe that's why you're getting shot each day.
Bhompu swayed off to one of the stalls. Husna Hippo, Minky Mouse, and Harry Hare were pretty upset, but were pacified by Big Bro's earnest apology.
I'm so sorry, friends. Bhompu doesn't make friends easily.
With these kind of manners, he never will.
Muttered Harry Hare. Suddenly, a yell attracted their attention. It was Pasha's snake.
Help! The grape-crushing tub!
Big Bro and his friends rushed over to see the big tub toppled over, spilling thick, sweet juice onto the grass.
All my hard work! I tried to stop him.
Pointing to Bhompu, who was coolly sucking sugarcane. Ashamed, Big Bro was about to apologize when another shout startled them.
No! Stop that!
Big Bro turned with dread rising in him, and sure enough, his cousin Bhompu had caused trouble again, and this time it was serious.
Oh no! He has smashed Toto Cuckoo's nest!
Morris Monkey swung up the branches quickly and caught Toto's little babies before they fell from the wrecked nest. Toto was close to tears as she tried to mend the nest in vain.
Oh, what's with my poor babies, my home?
Toto wept miserably, and all the animals felt very, very sorry for her. That is all, except for one.
Oh, well, I just shifted the branch a bit so that I may get some shade. How would I know that this foolish bird would build a nest in such a place?
Toto is not foolish. It is you who was careless not to have seen the nest.
Turning to Big Bro, Shamsher could not help but say,
I am sorry, Big Bro, but you and your cousin have to leave the festival right now.
Big Bro sighed and nodded.
Why should I go? These animals have no manners. How dare they treat me like this? If I want, I can squash all of them with just one foot.
Raved Bhumpu. And it was after a lot of coaxing and cajoling that Big Bro finally managed to get him home. The next day, Big Bro met Shamsher and the others.
I am very sorry for the trouble Popo caused yesterday.
Seeing how bad Big Bro felt, they all smiled and nodded. But once he had left, Shamsher said,
I'm sure Big Bro feels sorry, but Popo doesn't.
Yes, he has to be given a taste of his own medicine. It is only then that haughty elephant will learn to respect and care for others. I have an idea.
They all leaned in close as Minky whispered her plan. The next day, as Bhumpu greedily munched on bananas, Minky, Harry and Morris quietly tiptoed behind a bush near him and started talking loudly to each other.
I'm sure we'll have great fun at a tea party today. Shh, Minky. Don't speak so loud, else that Popo will hear you. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Come on, let's go to Husna's house. The party would have started.
And the three animals left the place.
I will show those puny pipsqueaks.
So saying, Bhumpu stomped towards Husna's house. At Husna's house, Pasha peeked out and saw Bhumpu approaching.
He's coming,
Warned he, and everyone rushed to hide. Bhumpu barged into Husna's garden and spotted a huge, yummy-looking cake.
They did not want to share the cake with me, huh? That I too would smash it so that no one gets to eat it.
So saying, Bhumpu headed at the cake. His trunk raised.
No, wait. You will trample Granny Ant's home.
As if I care.
And rudely shoving Harry aside, rushed at the cake, his huge foot crushing down on the anthill.
He doesn't care at all for the others. Don't worry, he's going to learn his lesson. Watch.
And then Husna saw a large number of red ants climb angrily out of the crushed anthill and head for Bhumpu. They started crawling up his legs and onto his body.
Yeah, get off, you pesky insects, otherwise I will squash you,
Said he, but how much ever he shook, stamped and swung his trunk, the red ants wouldn't fall off. And once they were all over his body, they started biting him.
Ow, 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 stop it!
Bhumpu wailed and writhed as his body swelled with sore lumps.
You are a very mean and unkind bully. Why should we show you mercy? I am sorry, really sorry. I'll never bully or be mean to anyone. Please stop biting me.
That evening, Big Bro was surprised to find a very meek and quiet Bhumpu helping rebuild Toto Cuckoo's home. He was also helping Husna and Auntie Pig with filling her pies.
Popo is so nice now. What magic made him change so suddenly?
Minky's plan bright and Granny Ant's bite.
And everyone laughed, happy that all was well in Toonban again. Tiny Tadpole is quite smart. Tiny was a little green and yellow tadpole who lived in the beautiful clear pond on the eastern end of the Toonban forest. Tiny was quite shy and did not make many friends beyond his small green habitat. But He knew Minky the mouse and Minku the monkey. Minky and Minku used to often come to meet Tiny, bringing small presents such as fresh fruits or special cakes with fly jelly on them. They would have tea with him and tell him about what went on in other parts of the forest. Tiny would enjoy these visits as he loved to hear all news about the forest and tell it later to his two best friends at the pond, Kobe and Loki. Kobe and Loki were twin catfishes who were without doubt the best looking fish in the pond and were admired for their handsome mustaches and glistening silvery bodies. Kobe and Loki also were thought to be very clever fish. Many a time they had outwitted water snakes and crocodiles and avoided getting caught. Tiny listened in awe to the many tales Kobe and Loki would tell and hoped that he would be as smart when he grew up to be a frog. The monsoon was the best time of the year according to Tiny, when the pond would be brimming with pattering raindrops, but sadly, it was the peak of summer with no signs of rain, and Tiny was starting to find the pond a bit crowded as the water started drying up. It was no surprise when he found other tadpoles using his lily pad for a nap. Tiny wished he would hear news of rain, and soon. The little tadpole did hear news, but neither was it good nor was it of rain. Minku Monkey and Minky Mouse had both come together, empty-handed and looking worried.
Your pond has gotten a lot smaller since I saw it last,
Muttered Minky.
Oh, I guess it will be alright once the rains come,
Said Tiny, cheerful as ever.
With Oslo the tortoise, who forecast weather for our forest, said that there would be no rain for over 2 months.
Remarked Minku.
Oh, that doesn't sound so good.
Mumbled Tiny.
And it may be even worse, because I heard that a huge flock of cranes have flown in from the neighboring forest. These hungry birds have already cleared off the ponds and rivers in their forest of all fish and now plan to hunt in Toonban.
Minku and Minky's visit left the usually smiling Tiny looking a bit glum. Kobe and Loki noticed this and teased Tiny, asking him whether he looked so because he had eaten too many flies. But Tiny did not smile like he used to, and Kobe and Loki understood that the little tadpole was troubled.
Come on, Tiny. Tell us what's troubling you.
Urged Loki.
Yeah, because there isn't a problem that we two can solve,
Said Kobe with a swagger to his whiskers. Tiny told them about the flock of cranes headed for their pond and added,
I think it will be dangerous to stay on here. Maybe we should leave. Yeah, leave? Why should we leave when I have 100 ideas as to how to outwit these nasty cranes? And I have 1,000 ideas that'll send the cranes running back to wherever they came from.
Tiny sighed.
But if the ponds get drier, we will all be sitting targets for them, and no number of ideas would work. Without water, where would we swim? Where would we hide? Oh, you worry without reason, Tiny.
Said Kobe with a smirk.
Those cranes are no danger at all.
But Tiny was sure that not only Loki, Kobe and he, but all his other friends at the pond would be eaten by the cranes.
I don't have many ideas, but maybe I have just one.
Muttered Tiny to himself. That same night, he woke up the earthworms, who lived along the pond's edge, and asked them to start digging a small channel in the soft mud. The earthworms, who liked Tiny for his friendly nature, happily agreed and got to work. The next morning, as the sun rose and Loki came up to sun his whiskers for a bit in the warm daylight, he looked up and saw a great many white and black wings blot out the sky.
Oh my, it's the cranes!
Exclaimed Tiny as he hopped onto his lily pad.
Quick, everyone, let's all leave this place.
Said he, urging all the fish and frogs awake.
Stay where you are. I will deal with this lot. After all, I have 1,000 ideas.
Said Loki and swam at the huge cranes who had landed beside the pond and were hungrily eyeing all of them. But the shallow water of the drying pond was too murky and Loki's fins weren't moving fast. One of the cranes opened a sharp beak and stabbed at the water trying to catch Loki.
Oh, wait, Loki. I bet my 100 ideas will stop them,
said Kobe as he leapt forward. But before he could do anything, 3 sets of sword-like beaks snapped and snatched, trying to gobble him up.
Oh no, what do we do? What do we do?
Wailed Kobe and Loki as even the other fish panicked.
Come, friends, quickly!
Called out Tiny, lifting some weeds and showing the channel freshly dug by the earthworms overnight.
This will lead us all into the river where we will be safe. Quick, swim through before the cranes realize.
All the fish, including Kobe and Loki, rushed through the channel as the cranes stomped, entering the pond. Tiny made sure everyone had gone on ahead before he himself gave one last look at the pond that had been his home, waved a thank you to the helpful earthworms and ducked into the channel, leaving behind the flock of cranes disappointed and still hungry. Soon, Tiny and the rest of his friends were at the river, safe and sound. The fish and frogs cheered aloud for Tiny, who had saved them all. Even Loki and Kobe had to swallow their pride as Loki admitted,
Well, Tiny Tadpole, you only had one idea, but it worked.
Yes, for sure. Tiny had proved that he too was quite smart. Golu and Lalu in the rain. It was the rainy season, and the sky was overcast with dark thunderclouds. As a strong wind rocked the trees about his home, Golu looked out his window and thought,
Wow, it seems as if the rain's coming down really hard. What great luck that Mom and Dad are not home. What fun it'll be to get wet and splash about in the rain as much as I want.
He rushed out just as fat drops of rain started to splash about and knocked at his friend Lalu's home. But Lalu did not want to join Golu, for he did not know how to swim and was scared that he would drown.
You know what, Golu?
Said a nervous Lalu.
You two shouldn't be outside in this kind of heavy rain. It could be dangerous.
Bah, you're such a coward.
Teased Golu.
Fine, stay hidden in your house. As for me, I'm gonna have some great fun.
Lalu hated being called a coward and wanted to show Golu that he was just as brave. Lalu sneaked out his house while his mother was not looking, and both the little ants ran as fast as they could from the anthill towards the open ground beyond. Thunder rolled loud and lightning lit up the gloomy sky bright as the rain started pouring down hard.
Woohoo!
Shouted the delighted Lalu and Golu as they danced and splashed in the fresh puddles formed. In all their fun and frolic, they did not notice for a while that the pitter-patter of rain had grown to a heavy downpour. But when some of the really heavy drops hit Lalu hard on his back and head, he realized it. Worried, he told Golu,
I've played enough. Let's go back to the anthill.
But Golu ignored him and splashed and squelched on and on about in the wet mud. The air being chilly, soon hail the size of large ice cubes started to fall. The hail pelted Golu hard and he got a big, nasty, painful bump on his head. Lalu, dodging and hopping this way and that, trying not to get hit by the hail, was now annoyed with Golu.
See, hadn't I told you that we should be going back home? Now we're...
Okay, alright, Lalu.
Said Golu, also dodging the icy hail.
Stop sounding like my mom, okay? Let's go.
Golu and Lalu started running, but it was too late. The heavy rain had turned all the mud on the ground into sticky, wet slush. Golu and Lalu couldn't run as their feet got stuck in the sticky mud. They fell, trapped and unable to swim.
Help us!
Help us!
They screamed, but the sound of the rain and thunder drowned out their cries. Lalu started crying.
No one will ever find us. What did I do?
suggested Golu, though now he too was quite scared himself. They tried shouting, but were now too weak, and their shouts were barely heard. However, a bird that had taken shelter from the rain in a bush nearby heard the feeble cries of the two ants. The kind bird, despite the rain and hail, plucked off a big leaf and dropped it next to the drowning ants. Golu and Lalu, with some difficulty, climbed onto the leaf, which the bird then picked up in his beak and, flying over to their anthill, placed it carefully down. Relieved to be home, Golu and Lalu stepped off the leaf and thanked the bird for saving them. Smiling, the bird said,
It is good to be brave. Not be afraid and enjoy doing thrilling things. But that doesn't mean you knowingly put yourselves in danger. That is not being brave, but being foolish.
Realizing that he had not just put himself, but also his best friend in danger, Golu felt foolish and sorry. But he was forgiven by a now smiling Lalu and the kind bird.